The sky was finally clear for today's matchup between the Harwich Mariners and the Kettleers at Lowell Park today, a game that had already been postponed twice this season. The Mariners picked up right where they left off with their 12 runs through 4 innings before the first postponement, as today they scored 2 on a Daniel Cabrera double off of Kyle Nicholas, who was getting his first start of the season. Nicholas quickly lost control in this one, quite literally, as later in the second inning he threw a wild pitch to 2 consecutive batters, and on each wayward throw a Harwich base runner would score, so it was 4-0 Harwich through 2. After Evan Justice entered in relief in the third, however, his defense would back him up, turning 2 to get out of the inning. In the fourth, however, reliever Chris Farrell would experience the same wild pitch woes as Nicholas, as he hurled one high into the left of catcher Cody Pasek that brought yet another Harwich runner home. After a single that would plate one more run in the fourth for Harwich, Farrell would keep the Mariners at bay until the seventh, when his second wild pitch and the fourth of the game would give Harwich a 7-0 lead. Down by a touchdown, there wasn't much Cotuit could do, but that didn't stop Parker Chavers from laying out like a receiver catching a touchdown for a great catch in left in the eighth. In addition, Cotuit was able to finally push across their first run in 23 innings in the bottom of the eighth, when Nick Gonzalez scored on a fielder's choice. Unfortunately, Nico Cavadas would pour salt in the wound in the ninth, as he belted a ball over the right field fence for his 9th long ball of the season. The Mariners would add one more in the inning to go up 9-1, and they would close out the Kettleers as the sun dipped below the tree line for a commanding 9-1 win. The Kettleers will be at home again tomorrow to face the Wareham Gatemen as the last week of the season begins, and it's a week full of key division matchups for Cotuit. Although a loss like this doesn't seem encouraging with the tough upcoming schedule, Coach Roberts was optimistic in our interview with him about his team's position going into the last week of the season. To send you now to our post-game interview with Coach for his thoughts, and signing off for the Cotuit Kettleers, I'm Jacob Cohen.
All right, coaches, what are some of your overall thoughts and observations from this one?
Well, I mean, Harwich just outplayed us. They just did a great job. But when you looked at the scoreboard, you know, was it all their bats? No, it was walks, wild pitches. 3 of the first 6 runs scored on wild pitches. They wore Cody out behind the plate. And as I told them afterwards, right now there's not a lot of confidence out there. And Dean Smith's the greatest coach that I've ever been around, and I watched him for 36 years, both as an undergraduate, a graduate student, working alongside of him. And, you know, I would watch him, you know, I told him toward the end of a game, you know, Carolina be down by 6, 38 seconds to go, and he'd just let the guys come to the bench and smile and say, look, we got them right where we want them. And so I just told the guys, I think we got the league right where we want them. You know, they think we're in a lull, and let's just see if we can pull ourselves out of it.
What did you see out of Chris Farrell today coming in from the pen?
Well, I didn't see much out of anybody that I want to stand here and brag about. I appreciate their effort, you know, and I certainly appreciate Chris's effort. But I didn't see polish because his first inning was not a lot better than Nicholas is out there. And then Beck has a good first inning, then has a poor second inning. So, you know, to me, you just have to, you just have to say thank you for their effort. And we just got to, I'm a teacher, and we just go continue to teach. And, you know, the toughest part of our schedule is yet to come. Without a doubt. I mean, these games coming up are with really good teams. And so we just got to get our mojo and we got to get our confidence back. And, you know, if I stay confident and I let them relax, then we'll be okay.
Are there any particular adjustments you'd like to see from the bats going forward?
Yeah, I want them to swing every pitch every time they go up there, like I told them earlier the year. I don't want them to think about fastball, curveball, slider, changeup. I want them to swing every pitch that the ball comes out of the pitcher's hands. I want our pitchers to throw their secondary pitch in every count, and we're not doing that. You're only as good as your secondary pitches. That's it, and you got to be able to throw them 3-2. You know, you got to be able to throw them anytime, and you can't rely on your fastball. You're going to get eaten alive, and we got to go back to seeing if our pitchers really have good secondary pitches, and that's just like the home run Cavalas hit on a 3-2 pitch. You got to be willing to throw a changeup. You got to be willing to throw a breaking ball there, and that's the confidence that we got to go back and find.
Great.